The truck is mostly stripped down, so I wanted to show the frame coatings that I went with. They're coming from Eastwood Company. Not a sponsor or anything, just want to show people where they can get this stuff. Eastwood has they're probably one of the main suppliers of this internal frame coating. There's a lot of external stuff out there for coating frames, but internal wise, this is probably one of the #1 coatings used. It has this nozzle that you can spray inside the frame. For outside, I've got this rust encapsulator platinum from them. It's supposed to be pretty tough. It does have a super shiny metallic silver finish, which I don't like. They recommend, putting some kind of a top coat over it for extra protection. You can put whatever you want, but they do obviously recommend their own stuff. I went with their 2K ceramic chassis black. It's supposed to be pretty tough stuff. You can spray it on or brush it on. I'm not sure what I want to do yet. It's because I don't know how much of a mess it's going to make. But this is gloss. I didn't want gloss. It just happens to be that they were out of stock of the low gloss stuff. So I ended up getting what they had just so I can get this job done. It is a coating you have to mix though, so you want to have some mixing cups so you can do that. Before I get to anything, I need to wipe the frame down one final time. I have some different stuff here. There's a lot of things available. You can just use, if you didn't have this stuff, you could use like alcohol or lacquer thinner, something like that. That's going to just take the light oils off and make sure it's super clean before you put any coatings on there. Definitely recommend getting it one final wipe down. This is a surface wash from Summit. This is just some other products, all basically the same. It has mineral spirits, like toluene, methyl ethyl ketone, naphtha, stuff like that. It's one final stage just to make sure it's clean. Get yourself some lint-free rags. You're gonna wipe on, wipe off. I'm gonna do that next before I start getting these coatings on. Well, here's how the Tacoma frame looks now after all the stuff has been removed back here. It did get one final cleanup with phosphoric acid, the metal etch treatment. I brushed it on and I gave it a light scrub with a Scotch-Brite pad. After it's set up, I just kind of rinsed it down and wiped it, and it left this kind of dull grayish blue color that it likes to do. So it looks so much better. I mean, the first couple of videos when I took this truck apart, there was just so much rust you didn't know where to start. Now it looks almost like a new frame. It's crazy how much better it is now. So I'm going to do one more wipe down, like I said, with this final prep, and then we'll start on the internal frame coatings. Oh man, squeaky clean, that's what I like. That's going to be good for optimum stickage of the coatings. So I also cleaned the inside of the frame rail before I had capped this off so that the inside is as clean as I could get it now. This stuff is supposed to be able to be sprayed over rusty surfaces, but given the fact that this is about as clean as it's going to get, that's going to be even better. The can's shaken up. Set that over there. One of the things about these straws is they've been sitting in a box for who knows how long, all coiled up in a little baggie, and they like to do that. That's not going to be very friendly when you're trying to, spray the frame. So I've seen people heat these to take the memory out of it. So I'm going to try that without melting it. Another thing, oh yeah, it's starting to straighten out a little bit. Okay, it's already getting better. Look at. Another thing though that I've seen people do is just to take like a TIG wire or coat hanger, something straight that they can feed down into the frame hole if they get that whole contraption in there. So we're gonna do this, take some frustration out of the process before I get started. One more shake just for good luck. The spray nozzle here has like a 360-degree spray pattern, I suppose they say, to coat the inside of this frame. I did straighten out the spray tube with the heat gun. That helped a ton. And then I taped a TIG wire to it just to give it a bit of a backbone. And also I can maybe bend it as needed to help reach certain areas. So this is the first time I've done this. We'll see how it goes. Put this nozzle on there. I'm just using these existing holes in the frame from the wiring harness clips. That's the end, so I'm going to start spraying. Oh boy. Whoa, you can hear it. Okay. I got the green. I thought maybe the green would be a little easier to see. I do have a small endoscope that I could maybe stick in here and try to see if I got, you know, full contact with the coating all the way around. But I have a little bit of this left. It's a spray gun cleaning can, so it's called Blast Off. It fits the nozzle, so I'm going to give this a shot just to try to clean this tube out a little more. Oh yeah, there, see? That blasted off. Well, just like I said, it blasted it off. So you can see the nozzle. It just sprayed everywhere. So I'm going to blow a little bit of air through that just to get it a little bit cleaner, and then I can set this up for later when I do the second application. Well, it's been a couple hours since I sprayed the internal frame coating, and I'm actually surprised. The stuff set up pretty quick. Just in some of the areas where it had dripped down on the paper, it's not even tacky anymore. It's kind of like gummy. So I'm going to go ahead and do this rust encapsulator, this platinum, on the external part of the frame now. It says you can thin this stuff up to 20% with xylene. So I did about 5 or 10% roughly, because when I opened up the container, it was like pancake batter. Now it's more like syrup. So I think it's going to brush a little bit nicer. I was worried it was going to be so thick you're going to be pushing puddles around and it's going to leave lots of brush strokes. So we'll try this and see how it goes. It is a very shiny silver, and I've already can tell little tiny bits of it. One drop will probably cover your whole body, just like anti-seize. It's kind of what it's like. So we'll see how it goes. Start brushing it on here. This is about 6 ounces out of the can. I took it out of the can because you got to be careful with this stuff. It'll seal itself shut. So get what you need out of the can. Clean the lid really, really well. Stick it back down so it doesn't, cure in open air. And then use up what you took out. So we'll see how far this goes. I'll start brushing it on. Oh man, that's fancy stuff. This brush is really nice. Yeah, it needed to be thinned a little bit. I don't think I would have liked trying to brush it on like at the super thick viscosity it was out of the can. So I'm gonna get this going, take my time, try and get good coverage everywhere. It just says one medium coat should do it. So that's what I'm going to do. And 4 to 48 hours of cure time. So by tomorrow, overnight, should have plenty of time for this to set up. And then I can get the black top coat on. This is the next day. It's been about 14 hours or so since I applied that coating. It's completely dried to the touch. I was going to try to brush on the top coat, but they don't really have directions for brushing it on. I'm going to assume that it's probably too thin to do that. So instead of chancing it, I set everything up so I can spray. So I got the truck masked off and covered up. Everything that doesn't need to be in the garage that I could get out is out. It's going to be a good day for painting. The weather's perfect for it. Very, very low wind. I'm going to have good ventilation in here. So I'm going to get my small touch-up gun, my HVLP, and I'm going to mix up the coating and start spraying. Man, this paint is so shiny. I wasn't too keen on getting the gloss black, but I don't mind it that much. It does look pretty good. I prefer the low gloss, but hey, I only got what they had in stock so I can get this job done. It's very tough paint. It took more than 24 hours to fully cure. After the first day, it was mostly dry, but I could put a witness mark in it with my nail. So I just let it dry for a few days, and now it's super hard. So I did start putting a few pieces back on, like this cross member, and the wiring has been routed somewhat with those new oval shaped clips. This side has holes for the wiring harness, but there isn't a harness over here. Maybe it's different in other builds around the world, I don't know. So these ones just got blocked off with the clip, and then I cut the tie wrap portion off just to plug the hole. I have other stuff I need to do before I can put this back together. Obviously, if I'm going to want to drive this thing, I got to get the axle, fuel tank back in it. But the axle is a project of its own. I didn't want to have to strip it down and go through it right now, but I just have to. I've already gone this far. I can't put this thing back in there like this. It's got a leaky diff cover, and it needs the brake lines routed on it, some other stuff. So I'm going to do that. And the fuel tank, I did power wash them. I got them degreased and super clean. So I'm just going to go ahead and get these things restored basically and coated. And then I've got all new leaves, bushing, clips, all kinds of stuff to reassemble the back of this truck. And finally, maybe once that's done and the whole back of this truck is done, I can take a little break from it, enjoy it a bit before I dive into the more fun stuff that's going to be happening up here.